We got to talk about Stephanie White. I am getting to a point where it might be time to consider firing her. It just looks like it's not working out. Before I get into the interview, let's just talk about the game against the Liberty. They were battling yesterday before the Liberty went on that 7-0 run to make it 69-67. And what happens? In typical fashion, the Fever fall apart in the fourth quarter. They get outscored 29-17. And is this another example of not preparing yourself for those moments? And that has to be on the coaching for some of the blame, because you're not getting your team ready in those moments and you're not executing in the most important quarters. I've seen plenty of coaches work with less. For example, the Miami Heat, when they went in their NBA Finals run, they lost Tyler Hero in game 1 of the first round of the playoffs. They still made the NBA Finals. A lot of their players didn't shoot well in the regular season. Caleb Martin went crazy during that playoff run. Won Eastern Conference Finals MVP. Duncan Robinson found his shot again. Jimmy Butler was on a different stratosphere. And Eric Spoelstra took a roster, the 8th seed, and got him to the NBA Finals. So to act like this team doesn't have talent, they don't have potential, is inexcusable. They have shown this regular season they can beat teams like the Lynx. They can beat teams like the Liberty. And they can compete with the best of the best. And the response here, I just don't know what we're going to do about this team. If this continues, you got to let her go. It's not a good fit. It's not working out. And they've been 500 this whole season. It's been either one game under 500 or going back to under 500. They've been inconsistent. I know people have been injured. I understand Caitlin Clark's been dealing with her injuries, but you still got talent. And in my opinion, it's inexcusable to be that poor in the fourth quarter consistently. It's a trend now. Until they fix that problem, then this team isn't going anywhere. And some of that is on the coach.
This team was pegged as a contender, coming into the season with the talent, the depth on this roster. And obviously you guys have dealt with injury and roster changes, but what do you think is missing right now from really allowing that to click, that competition with the upper echelon to click on a consistent basis?
Yeah, I mean, look, that's for everybody else to discuss whether we were really ready to be a contender or not. Certainly there's no substitute for experience. And Tosh and Sid are the ones on our.
So we're going to talk about experience. Okay, so Leah Boston made the playoffs last year. That counts for something. Lexi Hall was in the playoffs. And we just saw the Oklahoma City Thunder make the NBA Finals for the first time ever and win the championship. Yes, I understand they had a great roster, but the only guys that made the NBA Finals from that roster beforehand was Alex Caruso. I think there was one more guy who was in the finals, but they were role players. Your main guys, Jalen Williams and SGA, got the job done. It was a tough 7-game series, but they still overcame the odds. They went through playoff battles against the Nuggets and, of course, against the Pacers in that NBA Finals series. SGA in Game 4 won them that game down the stretch. They could have been down 3-1. To talk about experience, let's also mention the New York Liberty for a moment, where Fibic, a rookie, was playing exceptional against the Minnesota Lynx. He was a key contributor in the WNBA Finals, a rookie. You look at Jonquel Jones, he was their second leading scorer, someone who had never made the finals before, helping this team get over the hump. You could argue they were the two best players in that series. Ionescu didn't perform well. She didn't shoot well from the field to her standards. And Jonquel Jones shot well. Stewart shot 32%. Jones was 56% from the field. And to talk about experience, I'm like, that is a cop-out. You've got vets on this team. You've got experienced players who are used to winning. And again, Boston and Lexi Hall played together last year. Yes, I know they lost in the first round, but still, that counts for something. You've got vets. Kelsey Mitchell as well. I don't want to forget about her. But talk like, it's experience, but you only have 2 people on this roster who have championship experience. I'm like, come on now. What are we doing here? It's just coping and making excuses, in my opinion.
Our team that have championship caliber experience. And so you got to go through it. I do think, disruption in rotation, playing players in different positions because of that disruption.
Different positions. I haven't seen that all year from the Fever. What is she talking about? And disrupting rotations, injuries are going to happen. That's just the nature of basketball. You're going to have players in and out of the lineup at times. You have to find a way to win basketball games. Your fourth quarter performance has been horrendous. It's awful. And that is on the coach not getting your players ready to execute. The offense they run sometimes is atrocious. You have the Kelsey Mitchell isolation. When you play transition basketball, you generate good shots. You go away from players who are hot. Your rotations are questionable. Like we saw with Ari McDonald and Caitlin Clark starting in the same lineup against the Valkyries. It was a dumb decision. And again, I'm okay with you experimenting, but it has to make sense in the right situations. So it's just an excuse again. You can't talk about, oh, we had these rotations, we haven't gotten a flow. I understand continuity is important. I'm not saying it's not, but you still have Aaliyah Boston. You still have Kelsey Mitchell. You still have Lexi Hall. You shouldn't be just one game over 500. I just don't want to hear the excuses. And to act like, oh, we only have a couple of championship caliber players when we just saw the Thunder win the championship and we just saw the Liberty last year win the championship and their best players didn't shoot well from the field. It was Jonquel Jones and Phoebich that shot better from the field than them. And they don't have as much experience as Ionescu and Stewie in those moments. So to talk about championship experience, like, I guess this team had expectations. It's not living up to that. What she should have said in this interview is that, yes, we've had our struggles, we've had injuries, but we've also shown when we're fully healthy, then we are dangerous because we have beaten the best of the best. We have been able to compete with them. Yesterday, without Caitlin Clark, we were down 2 points. We have to get better at executing in the fourth quarter. We have to lock that down because that is where we're struggling. But to not talk about it is insane. And to act like not having Caitlin Clark has no impact is also crazy because she's the bread and butter that runs this offense. I don't want to hear about, oh, we don't have enough championship experience. That's not true. Some teams break through and don't have enough experience and overcome those odds.
Hasn't allowed the continuity probably as much as we'd like. But you can see it in spurts, right? You can see it in certain spurts where we have that. And so being able to, the difference in
It's the fourth quarter. You can talk about spurts, but the reality is they've been poor in those moments and haven't been consistent enough. That's one of their biggest problems right now.
championship caliber teams are those 2 or 3 minutes in a ball game where you can't have the miscommunications, you can't have the breakdowns, you can't have the poor shot selection, playing outside yourself, whatever it may be.
Well, if it's poor shot selection, maybe it's your offense you're running when you are letting Kelsey Mitchell dribble the ball too much, or you got somebody who is on a roll, but you go away from them. Then you have Caitlin Clark playing off the ball too much and not letting her play make. That could be the problem as well.
Games and series are won and lost in those small margins. And right now, we might have moments, and it might be 30 minutes a game, it might be 38 minutes a game, but those 2 minutes matter. And we've got to get to the point where we're not having those moments and those lulls.
I'm going to say it again. The fourth quarters for the Fever, really since the game against the Valkyries, it was in early June, have been pitiful. Just inexcusable basketball. Even in their wins, the fourth quarter numbers haven't been really good. So you can talk about 2 minutes. Why do you talk about a period of 10 minutes where your fourth quarter offense is atrocious? And until that gets better, this team isn't going anywhere. And to act like, oh, we don't have enough championship experience, that's why we're not contenders. That's the wrong message you're sending to your team, especially when they just won the Commissioner's Cup without Caitlin Clark. So it's just inexcusable. And I'm getting to a point where it might be time to fire Stephanie White because it doesn't seem like she's the right fit for this roster. I said one game over 500. They're 12-12. My bad. I didn't realize that. I said 12-11. So yeah, 500 basketball is not good. And I understand you don't have Caitlin Clark right now. You played the Vegas today at the time of this recording. Then you got to go to Chicago. So we'll see. If it continues down a path where they're spiraling out of control, they're losing these games, then you just have to pull the plug. At this rate, you might as well just scratch the season. It's disappointing because I expected the Fever to just win a playoff series. I didn't think they make the WNBA finals because I just thought the Lynx and the Liberty are above them right now. But it's not looking that way. And I understand Caitlin Clark's injury is frustrating, but you still got some talent on this roster where you can be better than 12-12. Hope you guys enjoyed this video today. Love to hear your thoughts about what Stephanie White had to say about why the Fever are not meeting expectations. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.